Let's jump into the ERC, the Employee Retention Credit. This is a fascinating program, and a little bit later we're going to talk about the PPP loan and the EDA loan, these government pandemic business loan programs that the government put out. But this employee retention credit is really phenomenal. And for those of you who watch Shark Tank, and I bet a lot of you do, if you're part of this community, you're part of fintech, you're part of business funding, maybe you're one of our partners, maybe you're a coach, consultant, trainer, maybe you're just looking to get your money right with the My Figures app. However you got to our channel, the bottom line is this podcast is to help you get your money right. And a big part of that is increasing your income, right? At the end of the day, you know, I love the example Grant Cardone gives. He talks about his mom after his dad died, and his mom literally, he said, would stretch the eagle out of the quarter using all the coupons and all the little money-saving techniques out there. And there's a lot of great people that focus on saving money. But as much as they focused on saving money, if they spent more time focused on earning money, that would actually solve a lot of their financial problems much quicker and lead to a much more enjoyable life where you're not clipping coupons for 50, 60 years. And so that's what he was talking about with her. So that said, if you're going to increase your income, the business funding space is a great place to do it. And right now we have this unprecedented opportunity with the employee retention credit that maybe we will never see again. So let's just unpack quickly, what is the employee retention credit and why am I talking about it? Well, number one, this employee retention credit is not a loan, but it's actually a refund of some of the payroll taxes and a tax credit for any business owner who kept employees on in 2020 and 2021. And some of the, businesses that were most affected, obviously, by the pandemic, you have restaurants, you have hotel and hospitality. People weren't able to travel as much. And so these business owners that kept employees on and were able to still continue, paying them W-2 hours and salaries, they're being rewarded by the government. The government did allocate all this money, but basically it's like, hey, you did keep them on, you did do the payroll, and you paid payroll taxes. Here's a refund, a tax credit essentially, and what it ends up being is checks that come in the mail to the business owner. So there's really 6 quarters that are available right now. You've got 2020, quarter 2, 3, and 4, and then 2021, quarters 1, 2, and 3. Those 6 quarters basically are the employee retention credit quarters. That's when the height of the pandemic was going down. And so the government's like, hey, if you kept people employed, God bless you, we're going to reward you. We're going to get you this tax credit for keeping people employed during that pandemic. Now, some businesses actually saw growth during that time. Some obviously saw a lot of pain. Either way, at the beginning, it was kind of like, hey, you can only qualify for it if you didn't take a PPP loan or if you saw a big reduction in the sales of your business. And so a lot of business owners, didn't qualify at the beginning, but then they updated the guidelines for this employee retention credit. And it was funny, I was watching this YouTube video, and clearly I got sidetracked here, but it had Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, kind of the guy I think that holds Shark Tank together, makes it interesting. He's kind of plays that bad guy, like, always doing aggressive deals for the potential entrepreneur trying to get some funding to give away some equity for some money. Anyway, he was interviewed recently, and it was the darndest thing. He was interviewed, and he's sitting there talking about this ERC. And so he said this group approached him about paying him to be a spokesperson for them to offer the ERC Employee Retention Credit Program. And they were telling him about this program, and he's listening to it. He's like, what are you talking about? This isn't a real program. This can't be. It sounds too good to be true. This is bullshit. That's basically what Kevin O'Leary's saying. And at the end of the day, he does the research, does the, digs into this, and he finds out, well, actually this ERC thing is for real, and small business owners are getting, 5, 6, 7 figures, sometimes in some rare examples, 8-figure refunds for this tax credit program known as the ERC. And so he's blown away. And so for the next 2 years, he's basically made this commitment, and probably good timing on his part, right? Because he just went through that FTX, Sam Bankman fraud, Friedman bullshit, whatever you want to call it, with FTX, where he was kind of an investor in FTX. And I think he had 14 or 15 million invested in crypto and money that they'd paid him. And of course, he lost that, most of it, when FTX went bankrupt just a few months ago, November 2022. And so, good time for Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary to kind of transition out of that mess into, hey, I'm going to go on a crusade and help small business owners in the U.S. to access this employee retention credit. And so it's this amazing refund. And there's a few different ways that small business owners qualify. Number one is if you saw your revenues reduced by about 20% from 2019 to 2020, et cetera, 2021. So that's one way. The second way that you can qualify is if the supply chain was interrupted and it hurts your business, right? So you have inventory, you have products, things that are coming in, and the supply chain is interrupted and it's just really hurting your business. Even if your business was growing, your business would have grown a lot more without those supply chain interruptions. And then the third, and really what I think is the most common way that small business owners are qualifying, is actually what's known as a full or partial shutdown. And I don't know one state out of the 50 states and the District of Columbia in the United States of America that did not have some kind of full or partial shutdown with your business. And so if your business did have that, and that led to you had to spend, you couldn't travel for your business, you perhaps couldn't have as many employees working, you couldn't have as many customers come into your business location, all sorts of different ways. But basically, if you were impacted with a full or partial shutdown, then you probably qualify for that ERC employee retention credit. And if you're not taking advantage of it, frankly, you're just being stupid. And I understand the cynicism and, you want to be careful. And I'd say probably the biggest reasons why people are scared of taking that ERC is, number one, they think it's too good to be true. And oftentimes if things are too good to be true, they usually are. And, you should not waste your time with it. So that's kind of one. But number two, they realize, okay, it's a real program, but I don't think I qualify, and I don't want to get in trouble with the government or the IRS, which is a very valid concern. And that's why it's super important you work with a group that has a really good fulfillment accountant CPA team to make sure you stay within the compliance of the guidelines and know everything. And so that might mean you only qualify for 4 of the 6 quarters, but are you going to complain if you get $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 in basically this tax cash check that comes in the mail just for you to use for your business or however you see fit? I mean, that's literally what it is. And so, yeah, you do want to make sure you stay within those guidelines and work with a reputable firm that didn't just pop up for the ERC, which is why we feel like we're in a good position. We've helped, thousands of small business owners, hundreds of millions of dollars in funding, and we have a great fulfillment team. And the reason we even set this up internally was we were using groups that were taking months just to get everything processed. And I said, there's got to be a better, faster way. We'll just do this ourselves. And that's exactly what we have done. So let's talk about some cool, exciting stories about some of the people in our community that are making a fortune with this employee retention credit. By the way, if you're watching this for the first time, you're like, oh my goodness, I need to get involved with this. I want to help small business owners and make a fortune doing it. I really feel like you got six to 12 months before it gets inundated and the opportunity is gone. So it's not a long-term strategy for your business, but it will build a lot of relationships and get you out there with a lot of clients that will lead to long-term benefits and more business funding, because businesses are always going to need access to money. And so it's a great time to get in there for short-term, money, cash benefits, build some relationships, and long-term, if you do a great job serving these business owners and these clients and referral partners, it's going to set you up to have a business in the business funding space long-term. So if you want to get your own link for sevenfigureserc.com/whatever your name is, business name you want to put, if it's ABC Funding, if it's Bob's Finance, or whatever you want it to be, email ty@sevenfigures.com, ty@7, the digit 7figures.com, and we'll get you that ERC link so you can start sending in deals. The cool thing about working with us is, number one, we're committed to keeping the client in compliance. We don't want any issues for them with the government, with the guidelines of this program. And number two, we're getting those documents processed and sent to the IRS within a week, whereas most groups are taking literally 3 months. How do I know that? Because we were sending it previously to a group who was taking 3 months and still wasn't giving our clients timely responses, and it was just asinine how long it was taking. And so we have loved being able to set up our own thing and get it done quickly and efficiently for our clients and these small business owners. So here's an interesting story as I take drink number 2. All right, not drink number two, but story number one with the ERC is Doug County. And Doug County was one of our new funding CEOs. He signed up in the summer of 2022, and he was kind of just getting started, and we started to kind of introduce him to this employee retention credit. And this guy has really worked hard and done a great job with this employee retention credit program. And so essentially he realizes this is a huge opportunity. To be honest with you, he kind of realized it more than I did early on. And so he goes out and he's like, well, I know these business owners have W-2 employees, so I'm just going to go basically knock on their door. And so he goes and he knocks on 150 business doors over a 2-week period, does it part-time because he has a full-time job. And of those 150, 5 tell him, yes, let's do this. And so he moves forward and he helps those 5. One of them ends up being a grocery store that's going to get a 7-figure refund, and his payout on this deal ends up being like $24,000 on one deal. When he told me that, and he'd gone through our program and learned kind of how to do marketing and build a relationship with small business owners, I was just so excited that, someone who just gets started in our program, goes out there, is earning a ton of money, is changing his family's life and being able to create a better life, an epic life for him and his family. Just super excited to see that happen. But I love the work ethic. I love the grind. For a guy who just said, you know what, I'm going to go out there and I'm not afraid of somebody telling me no, and I'm going to go knock on 150 doors the old school way, and I'm going to find businesses that want to take advantage of this program, and that is exactly what he did. And now he's, fast forward, I think he's probably done over 6 figures since he started working in our funding CEO program and and he's very focused, right? He's like, I'm just going to do the ERC for the time being, and then as I build relationships, then I'll be able to, transition to more other types of business funding as things change and that program starts to get capped out and expires and is inundated, whatever you want to call it. But great story for a guy who changes his life, makes $24,000 on one deal, and like I said, probably has earned over 6 figures. I haven't checked in with him in a minute because he's so busy. But I know he's got so many deals in the pipeline, and he's definitely built a multiple 6-figure pipeline of commissions that are coming in. So that's pretty exciting. That's Doug's story. Another one of our OGs in our Funding CEO Academy is Francois Hewing. Francois is just an amazing guy. He qualified for our Cancun trip that we took last April. It was. He and his wife came, and my wife and kids, we got to hang out with them. Great time in Playa del Carmen there. If you haven't been to Playa del Carmen, Mexico, I highly recommend you go there because it's a beautiful place. It really is paradise, and it's unique compared to any other tropical location because there's so many natural water parks where you can go, and you can go scuba diving and snorkeling and zip lining, and just an amazing place to hang out. So if you haven't gone to Playa, do yourself a favor and do some of these ERC deals with us and qualify yourself to just go to that beautiful location, take your family, and live that paradise dream. But let's talk about Francois. So he started in our Funding CEO programs it was the beginning, it was the end actually of 2021. So he started, was that when it was? Might have been, it was actually the end of 2020. Oh my word, it was a long time ago. So he actually got started in January of 2020. He was in our program that entire year of 2020, qualified to go to the Playa del Carmen trip in April of 2022. And literally in the last 6 months, he's really been very effective at working with this employee retention credit program and literally has earned 6 figures in just the last 6 months. He's been able to take care of some family members who have gone through some health scares, and just an amazing person, a magnetic person that you just want to be around and learn from. And we've certainly loved having him be part of our program. But that's a guy who has changed his life, his children's lives. I remember talking to him one day, and he's like, yeah, I'm going to go buy my daughter a car. She just got her driver's license. Like, man, you are a good father and a very big risk taker father. You never know how those kids are going to do getting their driver's license out there. But amazing dad, and has changed his family's life as a funding CEO. And we've learned a lot just working with him in our program. Another great story, and this is a recent one. And so if you're part of any of our Seven Figures Partners programs, in our Facebook group, part of Funding CEO Academy, we've got an amazing training for you next Wednesday. And next Wednesday, Marie, who is Ty's wife, so she's just a hard worker. I always say she's kind of the heart and soul of Seven Figures Funding. And so she decides, well, she loves helping small business owners and has been in the business funding space now going back to, I guess, 2017. So it's been several years that she's been in the space. Might even been the end of 2016. But yeah, it's been a while that she's been serving business owners. And so she was just thinking about some of the restaurants that she enjoys visiting and eating at, and just really realizing how much pain they've gone through. I mean, they were shut down so many times throughout the pandemic, had to transition from people eating in the restaurant to doing everything with takeout. And so she comes up with this unique strategy that she's going to share for us next Wednesday. And she finds a way to connect with these restaurant owners and help them. And she just barely sent one in. She's only been doing this for just a few weeks. And the business she just sent in is this awesome restaurant, 30 employees, probably going to be about a $500,000 refund. And for her just sending that deal in, she's going to earn $12,000 on that one ERC deal just for making that connection. Our team does all the heavy work, heavy lifting. And just that's how powerful this program is. That's why we're seeing these huge commissions for just reaching out to these small business owners and helping them out. And again, most of them don't know if they qualify, so it's certainly worth their time to find out. If they don't, we'll let them know, but most of the time they do. Maybe not every quarter, but to the tune of, in this case, this restaurant probably going to get a $500,000 refund for, just working and getting some documents over to our team to underwrite that for them. I mean, obviously worth it. And so right now, the number one opportunity to make massive, huge commissions in the business funding space is the ERC program. So again, if you don't know what this employee retention credit is, we actually have a playlist here on our channel called ERC Secrets in our YouTube channel. But you can also just email ty@sevenfigures.com. We'll get you your own custom link for Seven Figures ERC to just share that with business owners. We'll get on the phone, we'll educate them, explain how they qualify, get them pre-approved, and then do all the work for them. No upfront fees, and you get paid really well for sending those deals in. So email ty@sevenfigures.com and get your ERC link today, my friends.